Welcome to another Ask Katrina. Today's question is, Katrina, why do I keep delaying my progress? Okay, this question came from a very successful female executive. Her question came about through a discussion that goes something like this. I'm not a procrastinator. Sound familiar? I'm not a procrastinator. I don't delay on making decisions or taking action. That's just not my nature. But I keep delaying now in this new role as a new executive. What is wrong with me? Why have I suddenly changed who I am? Again, I'm not a procrastinator. What is wrong with me? Right? The answer is this: there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. None of us are broken, right? If someone's broken, we're all broken. We can go down that rabbit hole a different day. So let's don't go there. But the point is this: if you're not a procrastinator and that's not typically who you are, then understand that you're holding back because there's something new or different happening in your life that you're not used to. And that something different is fear. You're afraid. And that's okay. The difference in the past is that you've always been a little afraid because we're always a little afraid of something. There's always a little bit of uncertainty that's happening in our lives. But the variance and that level of uncertainty is the difference here. Okay, and let me explain that. I talk about this regularly, right? The pivot and the move, every time we get promoted in through that prior an average of 10 years, right? It takes women on average 10 years to reach the executive seat. That pivot and shift every time we've gotten promoted over those 10 years has been small. There's been a little bit of uncertainty, but the measure of uncertainty has been very small. It's been manageable. It's been a little exciting, right? It's been what we consider a challenge. Let's take it. Let's go. But when we move from that director role, that mid-level manager, that leader role here, to that executive role, again, it's what I constantly describe. That growth, that level of shift is significant. It's much larger than the little pivots. It's a huge pivot. And there's fear there. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of things that we haven't had to face within ourselves. Ooh, can I do it? I didn't realize there was that much growth. If I miss that, will I miss other things? Ooh, if there was that much growth, does that mean I shouldn't be in the role? Because maybe there are other people that already knew about the growth and they grew through it and they didn't have as much growth as I have. And maybe that means I shouldn't do this. Maybe I'm just not ready. I'm not cut out for this. Right? We go through all of those internal battles because we didn't realize the growth was significant. That doesn't mean that you're not the person that's meant to be in that role. That doesn't mean that at all. And again, the data shows that on average, it takes the typical executive 12 months to reach consistent levels of performance in their new seat. And so it takes 12 months, right? That's an average. For some, it's 6. For some, it's 18. The average is 12. Okay? And so either way, it's not the typical 2 that you're used to. It's a lot of growth. It's a lot of time. That's the average number. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. That just means that there's growth throughout every shift in anyone stepping into the executive ranks. And so there's just fear. Why are you holding back? Why are you procrastinating? It's because maybe you don't know how. It's because you think you should know how. It's because you're in your head. And, we hear it all the time. And it's a saying from Tony Robbins: when you're in your head, you're dead. You got to get out of your head. You got to get away from the fear. You got to acknowledge that this is very typical for the role that you're in. It's not a you thing. It's an executive thing. And when you acknowledge that, you can look around and go, oh, well, this is normal. And when it's normal, it's not you being broken or something wrong with you, or that now you're a procrastinator and you're undeserving, and on and on and on and on and on. Right? This flood of overwhelm. Let's get out of that. It's okay to be afraid. It's normal to be afraid. It's something new. There's a lot of uncertainty. It's a lot of growth. And anytime we're growing, there's uncertainty. It's okay. Embrace it. Accept the fact that there's nothing wrong with you. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to go through growth. There is going to be a lot of uncertainty. You're not the only one. You are meant to be in the role, acknowledge the fear, and then create a plan to get results. That's the next part of this, okay? What's holding you back is the fear. Face the fear. Now create a plan to get results, right? And let me tell you another little nugget here, another little thing that you need to know is that the way that you face the fear is not going and acknowledging it and then getting results. The way that you get results is, let me say it differently. You face the fear. You can do that together or on your own. Okay. But step number one, face the fear. You can do that right now in an instant. Step number two is going and getting the results. And what I want to tell you here is don't do that alone. That's what I was trying to say. You don't have to. There's no badge of honor in achieving that and doing that on your own. There's no badge of honor for figuring it out and playing that trial and error game with your career. Okay. That's just going to inject more fear. That's going to inject more delay. Don't do that to yourself. Go and find someone who has the proven strategies, either a mentor or with us, but go get the solution and move yourself through this at a pace that you know is appropriate for the pace at which you're used to achieving, which is pretty darn fast. Okay. You're not a procrastinator. You just have some fear. You just have some uncertainty. Acknowledge it, create a plan, move through it. That's the answer. And if we can help, we're happy to. If you'd like to join the next cohort that's kicking off, we have a cohort that kicks off on a monthly basis. If you'd like to join the next cohort, I'd love to tell you more about it. We only let 10 women in at a time. And so depending upon when you're seeing this and where you are in the process, we may be full, but still reach out because there may be 1 or 2 seats left. I don't know yet. It depends on where we are in filling the seats. But 10 women a month, you need to be one of those women, either this month or next month. It doesn't matter. But you need to be one of those women. So come join us in the cohort. Simply send me a note and let me know, and I'll put the details here in the post. As always, go and be legendary.